Welcome back. I'm here, my name is Debbie Edwards, and I'm here with Sabina Rabold, who is the Director of Training for the Australian Association of Buddhist Counselling and Psychotherapy. Sabina, I'm really pleased that I've got this opportunity to talk with you about this really unique training and incredible opportunity available to therapists in the field of mental health. And I know that there is a lot of interest in this course. And having done the course, I know that it brings the key concepts of Buddhism and the teachings and the wisdom into the daily practice, and also into therapists' own experience or their working as they work with other clients. So I'd like to talk to you, or if you can explain a little bit more about what's the course about.
Oh, you captured it really well. Hello. It's really lovely to talk with you on this Zoom forum. So the course, as the name implies, is specifically for people working in the mental health profession. So we're talking psychologists, psychiatrists, psychotherapists, counsellors, social workers, and experienced practitioners at that. So this is not a course for people who are just starting out in the industry. And what brings most people into the training is their interest in the Buddhist teaching and how the teachings of the Buddha can enrich not just their life, their self-care, but also their work with their clients.
Right. And how long is the course?
So the course is 2 years and consists of 10 weekend modules, so 5 each year, and 3 retreats. So we meet face-to-face for each of these events. And generally speaking, the training takes place in Sydney. The retreat centre is about an hour and a half out of Sydney. So it's pretty Sydney focused, but having said that, probably about 2/3 of the current students of this current course, they come from further afield. So we have people from Tasmania and from Victoria and Queensland, the Northern Territory. So people come from all around the country to join us for the 2-year training.
Right, so they fly in each weekend, and that's I think that's it's a lovely way to do the training, because I know a lot of the teachings is not just from these beautiful wisdom keepers and the fabulous variety of different teachers that we have in the course. Can you tell us a little bit more about the teachers who take the course?
Yes, look, we are very, very fortunate to have so many teachers who are not just highly, highly experienced, but also come from a great variety of backgrounds. So the criteria for a teacher teaching on the APCAP course is that they're therapists in their own right. So mental health professional, psychologists, psychiatrists, psychotherapists, etc. And that they have a long-standing Buddhist practice and are Buddhist teachers. So they have been in this field for a very long time. So they bring all their expertise as therapists, but also their understanding, their knowledge and their practice as Buddhist practitioners and teachers to the training. And in addition to that, some of the modules have a monastic joining as a co-teacher. So we have monastics from the different Buddhist traditions, and they usually have either a degree in the mental health field as well, or they have a very good understanding of the psychological sciences of the West. So that, of course, brings a great richness to have not just one person, but also a monastic in addition to bring their wisdom to the teaching. And then the retreats are taught by both monastics and lay teachers. So we have nuns and monks from the Theravada and the Tibetan tradition. And then the Zen retreat, which is our longest retreat at the end of the 2-year or toward the end of the 2 years. There are Zen teachers from a lay tradition of teaching. So yes, look, great richness. I mean, as the director of training, I liaise with everyone and I get to know people. And of course, I have done the course myself 12 years ago, the very first one. So so it's a very important part of my own practice, my own sense of sangha, sense of community, and inspiration to liaise, to learn from, to connect with these amazing teachers that we have on the course.
I found that too doing the course, and there's a real richness and a community of people within the students as well. So you're learning not only from the teachers but from each other, which is a lovely way to incorporate and
you're so right in that. Yes, and people, I mean, this current student group, they connect in all kinds of different ways, including some of them run a study group. There's a WhatsApp group. There's they share accommodation as if they're not from Sydney, or they host students from outside town, and there's a real connection. I mean, of course, not everyone is everyone else's best friend, but there is certainly the same sense of community of Sangha within the student body as there is in the wider community of APCA.
So there's 21 students in this course?
Yes, we started with 22 students, and a couple of people had to drop out because of life circumstances, which of course we don't encourage. We want the group to stay together for the 2 years, but sometimes life just, has other plans, and so we move and shift with the requirements. But we decided that this next training course will have an intake of 28 students, and we already have a number of enrollments and lots of interest in the upcoming course, which starts in May 2021. So we still have a few months to go to that, but it'll be here before we know it.
It will indeed. And the application process, it's like a 3 or 4 step process. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes. So we start with the expression of interest. So anyone who thinks they're eligible, so there's some entry criteria that I can talk about in a minute. But once the applicant looks at that and considers themselves eligible, they can go straight to the website where we have an electronic expression of interest. That is, it won't take more than 5 or so minutes to fill that in. And that way we know that the person is interested, and then we get in touch with them with the next steps. So if the student is interested, eligible, we then move from the expression of interest to the application form, an online application form, which is a slightly more involved process, because people need to show what they've done prior to the course, show their eligibility aspects, and once that is done, then we go to the third and last step, which is the enrollment agreement, and that too is an electronic process and doesn't take a long time. But we do want to be very thorough and very discerning with the people coming into the course, because we have so many more applications and expressions of interest than we actually take the students, simply because we need to make sure that we meet the eligibility criteria, so that people who do come together in the course do have that level of clinical experience, so that the conversations really are a postgraduate level conversation, that people really
So let's talk a little bit about the criteria.
Mm-hmm.
What's the criteria for the course, for the next course?
So people need to show that they have done 200 hours of undergrad counselling training. So that's one aspect. Another aspect is that they will have needed to have had 3 years of postgraduate clinical experience. They also will need to show that they've done 30 hours of postgraduate clinical supervision. And during their undergrad work, to show that they've done 10 hours of clinical supervision, which is usually a part of an undergrad course in this field anyway. So, so that's the kind of the cornerstones of people's eligibility criteria.
Okay. Just touching on the supervision. So there is supervision within the course as well, isn't there?
Yeah, that's right. So from the second module onward, on the Sunday of each module, we have supervision groups of no more than 6 people. So that's in line with PACFA requirement. And each group has its own individual supervisor. Of course, supervisor is from the same background as I described a little earlier. And we have a schedule that goes over the 2 years, so every student gets to present once or twice over the course of the 2 years, present work from their own clinical practice, of course de-identified as they would in any other supervision group. And then there is a group discussion guided by the supervisor, and yeah, so people gain a lot from that, because it's one thing to learn the theory, and of course that is exciting enough. I mean, it's great, you know, to learn so much about, you know, these super interesting concepts. But the other part of it then is, how do I translate that into clinical practice? How do I change my clinical practice to incorporate concepts and ideas and aspects of the Buddhist teaching that I've been learning in the modules? So, so that's really what supervision is so important, why supervision is so important, so that students can get a real experience of what might be helpful.
Great. So the application side of the course is a key element to so you can really understand the teachings and also use the teachings. However, a lot of people watching might be asking the question, so do I have to be Buddhist in order to do this training? Do I have to believe in Buddhism?
Yes, so that's a very good question. And the short answer is no, you don't need to know anything about Buddhism ahead of time, other than, you know, have a curiosity about it. Like, that really is what people bring to the course. In my experience, having gone through this program now for the last year and a bit with the current students, what I'm seeing is that students are very experienced in their clinical work, whichever place they come from, whether they're in private practice or they do organizational work, whether they work for a non-profit organization or they work in a big corporation. They all bring lots of really good clinical experience. What is added is the lens of the Buddhist teaching to their clinical work. So this is what people are really keen to learn about. You know, that's what they're thirsty, hungry, interested in. And so that's the angle of the curriculum. So here's your existing practice. Here's what the Buddha says about, or what the Buddhist teachings say about these concepts, and how can you integrate that into your work. So that's I guess in a nutshell how it works. So the starting point for quite a number of people is that they know very little about Buddhist teaching, the Buddhist teaching, but there is a great curiosity. And of course, what we do encourage people is that they develop, if they don't already have a meditation practice, that they develop a meditation practice over time. And this is also where the retreats, I guess, have such an important place in the overall training, is that during the retreats, students learn a number of different types of meditation practices from different Buddhist traditions, so that they can develop their own ongoing practice beyond the duration of the course.
Fabulous. So
I know, I'm very excited to be part of it myself, actually.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that with all of your enthusiasm throughout the whole course of being involved in some of the trainings as well. It's a wonderful experience. I guess in closing, we need to sort of talk a little bit about what happens next. So the next training it starts in...
So the first module of the 6th training course is on May 1 and 2, 2021. So 11 months away, basically, like today in 11 months. So and then we have 10 modules and we finish in March 2023.
Okay, so if that's too soon for some people, when is the next one? So how often do they run?
So we usually have a few months off between the training course. So I would assume if we finish in March, we probably start September 2023, thereabouts. But the final decision is made by the training committee. So the course is overseen and guided by a group of people who either teach on the course or who have been students on the course. And as a group, we make decisions about the important aspects of this training course. So the final decision will be made. So
it's very collaborative.
Very collaborative, yes. It's a
very collaborative approach.
And I don't know, like maybe a lot of people don't know this, but APCAP is like a real, it's like something quite special, because a lot of it exists because of the generosity and the good heart of a lot of people who have worked tirelessly over many years without any pay to bring this course about, and continue to contribute and to guide and to bring their energy to the existence of this group. So it's a bit of a shoestring operation, really, and but very, very special from the perspective of it being, it's not a commercial enterprise as such. This is education for education's sake, not for commercial gain's sake. And in this day and age, being someone who teaches at a number of different universities, I know that that's actually very special. So so it gives me great pleasure to be part of this course.
It's a very personal approach and a very collaborative approach. I do feel that throughout all of the trainings, everyone is held in a very special way, and we have some amazing feedback from the students as well. And I think some of that feedback and stuff we can find, or people can find on the website, as well as the prospectus. So the really clear and detailed information about the course is also available on the website as well.
Yes, so the prospectus can be downloaded from the apcap.org website. apcap.org/training is the training part of the website. So the prospectus is there and can be downloaded, as well as the expression of interest that people can just click on and go through the process. We also have a regular newsletter that APCAP publishes. So that's where, lots of good information. We have a Facebook page that people can like and share and connect with. And that's a very vibrant place for exchange of APCAP information. I usually write a director of training report after each module and retreat. And so currently we have just finished a module. I've finished my dot report. Dot, that's me, director of training. And that'll be uploaded on the Facebook page in the next few days. So what you can also see in that is an excerpt of the feedback that students have given for the last module. So we're very transparent with what it is that we do, and the kind of commentary and feedback that people give. We really value feedback. Our students are encouraged after every event to give feedback, written feedback for all aspects of the training, so that we can not just be delighted by the kind words students have, but we can also take on board any suggestion for change or adjustment. Take that very seriously, so that the course is always adjusting in relation to what the students tell us they want or don't want.
Great. Is there any last words I'm thinking you want to add?
There are many people who have inquired over the years. And of course, there have been many students that have signed up. But there are also people that I have spoken with. They say, I've been looking at this course for years, and I'm so tempted to do it. At the end of the last module, one of the students wrote in her feedback, "It's the best money I've ever spent in my life." And so I would just say, go for it. It's such an investment.
Yeah, I agree. Sounds like it'd be a good idea to complete the expression of interest, even if you're not available to come to this next course. For the ones which follow afterwards, you might be able to attend.
Yeah, so that we can stay in touch. We can know that you're interested. We can know that you're, you want to be informed about things. So so all of that is really important for us. It's always been the tradition, the Buddhist tradition, to create community along the way, to offer the teachings freely, to contribute to a world that's more compassionate, more kind, to where our own lives, as the Buddha says, free from suffering. So that's really at the core of our intention.
And we need this now more than ever.
More than ever, yes.
More than ever. Well, I want to say thank you so much, Sabina, for sharing some of the real detail about the course. And if you are interested, please do jump onto the website, connect with us via the Facebook page and all the other social media platforms out there where you'll find us. So it's abcap.org, that's aabcap.org. And thank you very much, Sabina. Deep gratitude to you and the team for everything that you've done to provide this course or make it available.
And thanks, Deb, to you as well. You've been one of the people who have offered so much energy, wisdom, kindness, contribution over the years to UpCap, and it's all those shoulders that everyone stands on that make this all happen. Okay.
My pleasure.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.